Hey everybody, Stu Smith here, going live. Going to take some questions and give some answers today, as well as maybe break down a few combat swimmer strokes. We have a few submissions, as well as may refer to a TikTok channel if we have time. A couple of new ones on there that are pretty good that I wanted to share as well. So send in your questions. I'm happy to answer them. Let me see. Last week was pretty busy. I didn't get to do a live last week, mainly because I did 3 podcasts, actually 4. I did 3 of my own and another one as well on someone else's podcast. So busy week last week. Didn't have time to do a live. Still busy this week. I'm doing a lot more podcasts right now. Just have some great guests coming up. Dr. Parsley is coming up this week with um, it's going to be the importance of sleep. We had a great guy on there last week, Nick Behringer. He's PhD in performance nutrition. That was podcast 212. Check that out. Talk a lot about recovery, and we actually touched on the topic of longevity and exactly what that was. And in a nutshell, I just wrote an article. In fact, I put the comments, or I put in the comment section, or the description of this article, of this video. I put it in the description. I'll put it in the comment section here as well. But basically, longevity is, if you think about it, it is the mastery of recovery throughout your life. So you may be a little short-sighted when you're younger, teenage, 20s, when you're just focusing on your performance, but learning how to recover to perform better, that means eating right, sleeping right, um, stretching, mobility, injury prevention type stuff. All of those things come in handy to making you a better athlete or tactical athlete when you're young. However, learning those tools are going to really help you when you're older as well, because you have to hit them even harder then. And your diet has to be dialed in when you're older, because you're no longer a hard gainer anymore. You're now an easy gainer and a hard loser. Just things change in your body. And if you do a career in tactical professions, you will be older longer than you are younger. So the time to start thinking about longevity is actually now. But instead of using the term longevity, let's think recovery. And that's a long list of things that you need to master. And in fact, I'll just go over it real quick, just to kind of give you an idea of the in-depth process that is recovery. Because in the end, it really comes down to recovering from stress. Like your body's and mind ability to recover from the stress that we put on it, whether that's through exercise or through emotional stress, mental stress at school, work stress, just life stress in general, money stress, all happens. So how you cope handling that stress is what's going to help you with longevity, because in the end, stress will kill us all. I mean, it is the root of pretty much all deadly diseases, if you think about it. So sleep, nutrition, hydration, exercise with a purpose, um, breathing and relaxing, very important. The sooner you learn how to breathe to relax, the better you will be in being able to handle more stress, as well as just the stress that is in life general. Flexibility and mobility. Do not skip mobility day. I'm telling you, even when you're young, it is life changing. It will fix performance issues. It will help you with injuries, prevention. It's just so good for you. And finally, a positive outlook. An attitude of gratitude. All of those things come into play when you are trying to recover, de-stress, relax, and perform better. So, and perform longer. That's key as well. So, yeah, we go into smoking, drinking, alcohol, doing drugs, too much caffeine. All of those things can definitely affect your nutrition and your sleep and your health. Those will definitely shorten your life if you do too much. And as well as understanding what stress is. Stress with overtraining, even. It looks a lot like stress in life. If you look at in the article I wrote that I just put in there, there's a chart in there on all the symptoms of overtraining. Check those out because they're all the symptoms of overstressing as well. So the body looks the same. Looks the same when you're stressed or you're overtraining. Or what do we also call overtraining? Under recovery, right? So think of it that way. Okay. All right. Let's see some questions here. Is CSS faster than freestyle on a 500 meter? It depends. Really depends on which one you're good at doing. I personally can swim faster freestyle than I can CSS. Recently swam like a 7:15. Yeah, 7:15 on freestyle for a 500 yard, not 500 meter. And I paced out like an 8 flat on the CSS, you know, in another warm up session. Probably could have gone faster than that, but freestyle is much faster. I find it to be a lot more effort, however. So I'm more tired after a 500 yard freestyle than I am a 500 yard CSS, if that makes any sense. All right. John Doe, constant recovery. Yes, that pretty much is longevity. You have to be, the term we like to use is actively pursuing recovery. That is what you have to do to increase your performance, but it is also what you have to do to increase your longevity. And longevity is simply defined as you outliving the average age of humans, which I think is somewhere between 72 and 78 years. But at the same time, uh, you also want to have some life to those years as well. You want to still be doing stuff and enjoying life after retirement. So, yeah, it all comes into play. So, Dan says, have you heard anything from class 352? 209 guys phased up, lost 150 guys by first Thursday, another tough class. Yes, well, it is January at Buds. Nothing new there. It gets cold. And I guarantee you, cold is probably driving most of those losses. Sure, logs and boats and all that sucks in the first 4 weeks, but that's very typical. You're going to lose over half the class before Hell Week, and looks like they've already done that. So it's a mass exodus. People think they want to be SEALs until they're cold and tired and getting their head beat down with a boat on top of it. Unfortunately, a lot of people just aren't prepared physically and maturity wise, emotionally. Now, I had also heard that 352 had a majority of 18-year-olds. Like, I think the average age of that class was 19 years old. But I guarantee you, when they graduate, the average age of that class will not be in the teens. Just not how it works. And it's going to be 20 plus easy. So even though you might have 150, 160 teenagers when you start, you're going to have less than 10 when you finish. Maybe even less than 5, depending on the class. Just the way it goes. Statistically speaking, you're going to be riding a ship after Buds as a teenager. Now, I'm proven wrong by 1 or 2 every class, and God bless them. They are exceptional human beings to do that as an 18-year-old. I know I would not have been able to, because I didn't even know what fitness was at 18. I was a football player and thought I was in really good shape because I could bench press a truck, but I couldn't run a mile. I didn't even think about swimming laps. Okay, Mr. Smith, for the power lifter trying to drop weight, that was me. I know exactly what you're trying to do. How many times a day should I do cardio? Good question. And how long should I rest between sets of calisthenics? I'm 6'3", 340. Damn. Woo. That's a lot of weight. First of all, at that weight, I definitely would not be running. So all of my cardio would be non-impact cardio. You can walk. That's fine. I mean, if you think about it, that's a 250-pound guy walking with a 94-pound backpack. So that sucks. That you're rucking right now just by walking. So I would say walk on leg days, and every other day, bike, row, swim, elliptical, do a lot more non-impact cardio than your regular impact cardio. Don't even consider running yet. Your knees and hips and back will thank you for not running at 340 pounds. But the good news is we've had a guy who came to us at 350, and about a year later, maybe a little over a year later, he was down to 200 and ready to go serve. So remember that. It's going to take you some time to lose that weight. So just be patient, keep on moving. You're down 10 pounds already, so that's great. Keep that progress going. Nice work. Yep, I like that. Not actively surviving is passively dying. That's good. I like that. I also like train to compete, not just survive. That has a whole different meaning, especially in the tactical world, where if you go to a selection program, a lot of people just try to survive each day. And I've always said, if you will never think about quitting if you think about winning. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean you have to be number one in everything, but if you can be in that top 10% of the class, maybe even top 20% of the class, and you got 80% of the class behind you, that's a win. Man, that's good stuff. One, you're probably not going to get gooned and punished for being on the back half of the class, so you can actually rest before the next event versus get beat down for the next 20 or 30 minutes and then go do the next event. That sucks. So it pays to be a winner. That is for sure. I have a fibular stress fracture. I am swimming every day, but would like to include some aqua jogging. Got any tips on aqua jogging? Yeah, I aqua jog all the time. It's a great mobility exercise. So any day that you're swimming, just warm up or cool down with 15, 20 minutes of aqua jogging. Now, something I also like to do is I do like this hypoxic version of aqua jogging. So I don't really put on a float. So I'm jogging in the deep end, just my head's just barely under the water. So I'm holding my breath. I'll do like 10 strides, 10 left, 10 rights, and then I'll come up for a breath. 10 left, 10 rights, 10 come up for my breath. And you get really winded that way. You can actually work the heart pretty well, and your range of motion and your hips and knees are well and above and beyond that of normal running. Plus, it's the resistance of water, and it feels awesome. I'd highly recommend aqua jogging, and you can make it a little bit harder by just going underwater and pushing holding your breath a little bit while you're running. Then what I do is I'll warm up with some treading or aqua jogging. I'll go to the shallow end about chest deep, do all my dynamic stretches in chest deep water. So leg swings, front, back, side to side, butt kickers, Frankenstein walks, side to side, like karaoke's in the water, loosens up the hips really well. And then I'll do my swim workout, or I will end my swim workout with what I just said. So it depends. You can use it as a warm up, you can use it as a cool down. So anytime you're in the water, I would highly recommend what I just said do. Aqua jog, tread, dynamic stretches, and chest deep water. It might take an extra 20 or 30 minutes, but let me tell you, it is well worth it. Take your time and do that. I do that every mobility day. After mobility day as well, I will spend 5 minutes of non-impact cardio followed by 5 minutes of stretching. Do that for an hour. So like 4 or 5 times each, depending on my recovery time in between each. Then I go do a 10-minute swim, 10-minute tread, 10-minute dynamic stretches and chest deep water. Boom, I'm done in an hour and a half and I feel no pain. And to be 52 years old and feel no pain after a lifetime of athletics and short career in spec ops and then post career of training, um, feeling no pain has been a true blessing. And I count all of that to one, my mobility day that I started when I was in my mid 40s, and adding in that tread, aqua jog, dynamic stretches into my swim workout. 100%. Add it. It's awesome. Let's see. Let me see. Are there any specific tests or confidence boosters that you think would be beneficial to do before leaving for boot camp other than PT testing stuff? Yeah, whole bunch of them. I mean, you should be running 4-mile timed runs, 2-mile swims with fins, because you're going to be tested in that every week. If you can find an obstacle course, do it. Rope climbs. If you can't have a log and a group to do log PT with, get a sandbag of about 50 pounds. You should be lunging for quarter-mile sets, easy. Running with sandbag on your shoulder, sandbag sit-ups, sandbag overhead presses. There's a workout I call the Sand Baby Murph. Really good to do that. It's a kind of a log PT simulator. Work your neck just so your neck can handle the strain of extra weight on it like this. But yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff you need to be thinking. I mean, PST is only going to get you 2 buds. Last thing you want to do is be part of the 150 exodus in the first week, like Buds Class 352, by not being fully prepared for what you're about to go through. So start practicing those events that will help you get through the training. There's 2 phases to prep. Got to take the PST to get to the training, and then you better spend some time focusing on getting through the training, because if you don't, congratulations, you got 2 buds. Now let's pick out the ship you're going to go to. All right, figure out how you want to paint, because that's what you're going to be doing. If you're unlucky. Now, if you're lucky and you did pretty well at buds, but you just couldn't quite get through, you might get to go to SWIC, you might get to go EOD, but you pretty much have to have some sweat equity in the buds process before they offer you those. Like, you quit in the first week with nothing but failures under your belt, probably not going to offer you those cooler jobs. But you make it 3 or 4 weeks, don't make it through Hell Week, you might be able to get one of those other jobs. But you can't use that as a backup, because you never know. They may not need people, just like they don't need people in the SEAL teams right now. And you can tell when the attrition's really high, they just don't need people. I mean, they're 107% overmanned right now, which means people have to get out, people have to retire before they really need people again. And that spigot at Buds that fills the SEAL teams is pretty tight right now, and only trickles are coming out. You can see it. My last 3 classes are pretty tight. All right. Let's see. Hey, Stu, currently working on my run, which is my current biggest weakness for the past. Don't worry about that. That happens. I'm going through your 6-week run plan and wondering, is a treadmill suitable or do I need to brave the cold? Treadmill suitable. I don't have a problem with running on treadmills, especially if it's performance driven. We run outside right now, and if you're trying to run fast and it's below freezing, chances are you're going to get tripped up on some ice somewhere. And that's just, you don't want to slip on ice because then you're probably going to injure yourself. Um, so, yeah, my answer is it depends. Get out there in the cold, don't sweat it. If it's dry and you just learn how to breathe in the cold is a good thing, but you can also get on a treadmill and push yourself. But you might want to go like at like a 1% incline or whatever first level that is that they offer on the treadmill, just a slight incline. Um, Supposedly it's a little more natural to regular running, which I don't necessarily agree with, but it's better than nothing. Let's see, is your hour and a half of mobility to feeling no pain done every day or once a week? No, that's not done every day. However, I have done it 5 days in a week because I was either previously injured or sick and I just didn't feel like doing a whole lot. So I just did mobility days for a week. And that was good because, one, I kept the habit of training. I didn't shit can my training. I was actually training every day. I was just doing something easy and I felt good afterwards. But no, I do them in the middle of the week and on Sunday. So, though my Sunday's a little bit different, I just kind of spread it throughout my Sunday with a 5-minute cardio. I'll hop on the bike and then I'll do a 5-minute stretch or foam roll. Um, and I'll spread it out through the day. Whereas my Wednesday mobility day, which will be 2 more days, I will do 5 sets of 5 minutes of cardio, 5 minutes of stretching, foam rolling. Do that for close to an hour, and then I'll go swim for 30 minutes. That's once a week. Good question though. Hey, with that, let's see if I can share my screen and I'll show a CSS exercise here. Let's see if this works. Got all kinds of stuff going on over here. You guys see that? All right, good. Looks like it's working. All right, so we got a good kick off the wall. All right, so I already see something right off the start. So when you kick off the wall, don't waste a lot of energy doing dolphin kicks from the start. You don't need to move. You just stay in this position right here, you will move fine, right? So don't waste a lot of underwater energy doing multiple dolphin kicks. Just kick off the wall and hold it, right? You probably don't need to do anything for another second. And that's when he actually does his second dolphin kick. So that right there is probably the first time you need to move. So take out that first dolphin kick because waste of energy. All right, so here, not bad. Could probably tuck his chin during this glide position here as he transition into the stroke. That's a good transition though. Notice there was no loss of momentum there. So top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. He tends to do a little dolphin kick, tends to hold the glide in the bottom position just a little too long. It's not bad. I mean, this is really fast though. So who am I to judge? It's that typically I tend to hold this glide a little longer versus that glide. All right. So he's got two glides. He's got a glide there, right? And a glide here. He's still moving. So it's not a negative thing. It's just a little more mix of the elementary side stroke when you glide in that lead arm position, like right here. Okay, he didn't do it there. Okay, so we got top arm. Now he holds that glide there for a little bit. That's kind of like a lead arm, trail arm glide position. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not that efficient compared to gliding with both hands over the head like this, right? And when you do this position, you want to keep your head down, chin tucked a little bit to be a little bit more streamlined body position. And if you notice, he doesn't hold the glide very long. So it's 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. It's close enough. But if you do the math on this, that was a 46. I think he took about 5 seconds. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's a 46 second 50. So that was not bad at all. All right, let me see what's going on here. Let me quit sharing my screen. All right, there we go. So that was pretty good. Not bad. So once again, if he could do that for 9 more laps, he's going to be below 8 minutes easy. That's pretty efficient. It's got a lot of glide time, which I like. I'd much rather see longer glide times than more kicking. So if you're going to hold that bottom arm a little longer, I don't have a problem with that because it's not a lot of work to do it. It's just not as effective as, both hands over here with your biceps on your ears. No, it was a good one. All right. So, hey, Stu, I'm about to start Navy SEAL Fitness. I'm training for PJs. And other than hypoxic swims, how should I train for WaterCon? Good question. I actually have a great article for you. I'm going to put it in the comment section here. It's a drown proofing workout. So you're going to do all the tests of drown proofing. And then what I want you to do is check out the Air Force 50-50. Air Force 50-50 workout. This workout is actually in my not sure what happened. It looked like there was an error that occurred in one of these. Okay, no, they went through. All right, just maybe not on one of my Facebook pages. But this one right here is the Air Force 50-50 that is really good. I would seriously suggest getting the Air Force PJ workout because it's going to be a little more driven towards what you're doing versus the Navy SEAL fitness workout. I mean, it's a good workout, and many PJs have done well with that program. But if you do this one, it's going to have the drown proofing workouts in it. It's going to have, I just put a link in the thing there. It's going to have drown proofing workouts in it. It's going to have the Air Force 50-50 workouts in it, which are a little bit different than the Navy 50-50 workout. The Air Force 50-50 workout, if you're not familiar with the Navy version of the 50-50 workout, it's basically you warm up with a 500-yard swim, any stroke, because I want you to be able to say, oh, 500 yards, that's my warm up. It's very powerful later on. Then you do 50 freestyle fast, followed by 50 CSS. Try to catch your breath with that CSS, and it's a minimal rest, 10 rounds of that. So in the end, you've done 1,500 yards of swimming with the Navy PST 50-50. Now, the Air Force 50-50 works like this. You're going to do 25 meters underwater, but never do this alone. All right. People die every year trying to swim underwater for too long. So 25 meters underwater. Then you swim 25 meters back going freestyle. And you can make that fast if you want. You can skip, breathe, stay winded. And then you're going to spend 50 doing an easy freestyle stroke, minimum, freestyle, every stroke per breath, minimal kicking, try to recover during that 50 free, and then you're going to do it again, right? And then you're going to go through the 25 meter underwater. So the 50 works like this. You do 25 under, 25 free hard, then you do 25 free easy. You can also do CSS if you want during that, but it's an easy stroke. I want you to try to recover from that 50 meter previous 50 meter with a second 50 meter, and then take 30 or 40 seconds rest before you do it again. And it's a tough workout. I'm telling you, it's really hard. We did it the other day with a bunch of guys wanting to go Navy with a few Air Force guys, and that was next level for them. So, good question. Um, any advice for getting back into training after COVID? I had to take 3 weeks off, and my runs seemed to be suffering. Yeah, I tell you, it's tough. Um, lungs do get affected by COVID. So I've written a few articles on that. Um, you know, training after COVID. I did this one on military.com. Ah, look at this. Damn. I got all the answers for you guys. In fact, if you ever really want to test what I have done in the past, you have a question for me, ask the Google machine first and see and put my name on it and see if I've written an article about it. Because I just sent you an article titled Ask Stu How to Get Started Again After COVID. Thank you very much. I'm here all week. Is calisthenics done only in sets? In sets only at, but I have no idea what you're asking, Joe. I don't know why you like asking the same questions week after week. Joe asks, is calisthenics done only in sets, only at buds? I have no idea what you're asking. You do a lot of sets of calisthenics at buds. Most of buds is calisthenics and cardio. However, most people quit because they can't handle the logs and boats in the first 4 weeks. After the first 4 weeks, it becomes basically a calisthenics and cardio triathlon. Run, swim, ruck, calisthenics, and cardio. Okay. What is the most important thing to know if I want to join special forces? I'm from Israel. Well, most important thing to know is make sure you thoroughly understand your strengths and weaknesses. All right. So assess yourself in all the elements of fitness: strength, power, speed, agility, flexibility, mobility, endurance in multiple forms. That's running, swimming, rucking, muscle stamina, high rep calisthenics, and grip. Grip's also important. So uh, you need to assess yourself, because if you don't assess yourself, you're just guessing. In fact, I have an assessment tool here that kind of goes through some of the activities that you need to kind of practice a little bit. Um, and you will see that uh, there are um, events that you can grade yourself on, as well as what I recommend you to be doing in that article. It's just a little assessment tool, and Jeff Nichols and I did a video with that as well. So Joe follows up and says, are they done in 10 sets of 100 with rest in between sets or something? No, not necessarily. I mean, everything is progressive. I mean, you'll start off with sets of 25, then maybe go sets of 50. Maybe eventually you'll do sets of 100 of stuff. But it's a wide variety. It can be push-ups, it can be sit-ups, it can be flutter kicks, it can be leg levers, uh, pull-ups, not sets of 100, obviously, dips. I mean, everything's just it varies. I mean, there's no one answer for you, Joe. That's why there are programs out there with multiple options. I'm doing your 6-week running program currently on week 2. Ran a 4-mile in less than 30 minutes. Not bad. Looking forward to continue your program. Hey, good job. Yeah, you want to try to get that down to an easy 28. And here's why. If you can do a 28-minute 4-mile timed run, your first phase time for failure is anything over 32 minutes. So that's an 8-minute mile. You're at a comfortable 7-minute mile. That gives you a little gravy there, because I promise you, after weeks 2, 3, maybe even after Hell Week, your legs are going to be shot. And if you have to slow it down a little bit because your legs just don't move, you want to have some gravy room in there. So, even on a bad day, you get a 29 or a 30, and you're still 2 minutes under the first phase time. Now, in second phase, that time drops a minute to 31, and in third phase, it drops to 30. So if you can be in the 29s, 27 to 29-minute range every week, you're solid. Eventually, you may even get faster too. I wound up getting faster after dive phase, just probably because all the oxygen we were breathing under pressure with the Dregger. Everybody had speedy recovery, and run times got faster. Then third phase came, and we were running slick a lot more, running shorts and shoes, over at the island versus boots on the sand. So things change up a little bit as you get through, but you want to definitely be comfortable at that 7-minute mile pace versus 7-minute mile pace being a complete gut check. That's the difference. So you might be able to hit a 7-minute mile, but it's all out. You don't want to be there. You want to be a 7-minute mile, easy day, right? Maybe you could hit a 26 or a 26:30 if you really were putting your A game on. What'd you say the difference is between a timed run in your programs and just a run? For example, you say 1.5 mile versus 1.5. If I put timed in there, I want you to notice your time. If I don't put time in there, just run it. Run it comfortably, but you may still want to assess yourself on that run. Doesn't have to be a gut check type run, but just do your normal 1.5 mile timed run, see where it is. Moderate level activity. So that way you're kind of learning both. I know if I can gut check this 1.5 miles and time it, I'm going to hit a 27. But if I'm just going to run easy day, I hit a 28:30. Those are very important times for you to know in this journey. So sorry for not better explaining that, but yeah, when it says time, time it. Are the really long runs at Bud's timed? No. I'm talking about the 14 miler, for instance. I was funny. I was having this conversation the other day with someone who was about to go do a 10-mile run. And I said, you know how many 10-mile runs I did at Bud's? One. Right? You know how many times I ran more than 10 miles? One. Right? Most every run you're going to do is in that 4 to 6 mile range, and they're moderately fast. So when you're doing your run training, you want to learn how to do that 7-minute mile for 4 miles or faster, not too much faster. You don't need to give you a 6-minute mile for 4 miles. But you do want a 6-minute mile for your 1.5 miles, so you get 9 minutes. So you're playing around with that 6 and 7-minute range. When you're doing 14 miles, it's timed, but it's later on at Bud's, and really it's just finish it. It's more of a fun workout you do with the class and some instructor that wants to do it with you than something that's going to get you shit canned. Let's see. I auto qual in every event except swimming. Then you don't auto qual. You got to auto qual on everything to auto qual. Swimming background, running out of time. 26 years old. Do you suggest focusing only on swimming or do the 12 weeks to Buds? Well, I mean, here's the problem, Bo, is that if all you're doing right now is just getting 2 Buds, I hope you have a good athletic history that will enable you to get through Buds. That means having a strength foundation, not having to worry about any of the boats and logs, 4-mile timed runs, 2-mile swims with fins, because those are the things that cause people to not necessarily quit, though the logs and boats will. The 4-mile runs and the 2-mile swims with fins are those events that cause people to fail and not meet the standard and get kicked out. So my advice is swim every day. I would do that 50-50 workout that I just explained earlier. I put a link in there. Do the Navy PST 50-50 swim workout and watch your swim come down. Send me a video. I'll fix it. I'll make sure you're swimming the technique right. And once you got the technique right, you just need to get in shape. And I promise you, I've seen guys go from 10-minute swims to 8-minute swims in 3.5 weeks using that 50-50 5-6 days a week. All they swam was 1,500 a day. Yes, 12-week to buds is a good workout to prepare for buds, but it may not be all you need just because depending on your athletic history. Rucksack marching in the military, is that with a gun and boots and other stuff? Yes, it is. Typically. How do you stop water from going up my nose when I'm swimming front crawl and breaststroke? You know what? My recommendation is just exhale underwater when you are swimming through your nose so that water doesn't go in, and you just create that positive pressure in your nose so water can't go up it. Explaining that any differently and trying to explain how it's done, I don't know how to verbally do that. So you need to get in the water and start practicing with that. Any breathing exercises to de-stress? Yes. Have you ever heard of box breathing? Because it is awesome. It's 4 seconds inhale, hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds inhale or exhale, hold for 4 seconds, repeat. 4 seconds inhale, hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds exhale, hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds inhale, repeat. I've written a few things about this one. In fact, I think I even put it in my latest article about box breathing. In fact, I did in that link I just shared. I've written a few things about breathing, breathing for recovery, breathing for swimming, breathing for running. In fact, what is a breathing workout? I'm going to put the link right here. And this is kind of my all-encompassing breathing recommendation, depending on what you're doing, whether you're swimming, whether you're running, and all that. So maybe that will help you. But box breathing is the way to go. All right, so that is my dog telling me I'm about to be done. Let's see, one more question here. I'm just doing push-ups and pull-ups. Are these exercises good enough for strength training? No. I mean, it depends. Do you have an athletic history of weight training? It may be. Like I was a powerlifting football player and I didn't touch a weight for probably 16 months before I went to buds because I needed to turn myself into an endurance athlete with high repetition calisthenics and cardio. So it was good enough for me. But if you're an endurance athlete with no strength background, it may not be enough. So the answer is it depends. You may need it. Depends on. Check out that assessment tool that I put in there. And are your numbers in that range for strength and power? If they are, don't sweat it. Do your push-ups and pull-ups. But if they aren't in that recommended level, you may want to add some lifts to your day or take longer time to prepare for buds. How do I feel about HIIT workouts? Nothing wrong with HIIT workouts. I don't do a lot of them, but they're they're an effective tool if you don't have a lot of time to get your workouts done. All right. Do I ever use a treadmill? Every now and then. Very rarely. Only in my case is if it's snowing outside and there's ice everywhere. That's about it. Or it's freaking crazy hot and the air quality is horrible. Then I'll go indoors and run on a treadmill. That's the advantages for me. Has only to do with safety of my lungs and my butt from slipping on ice and not. In rucksack marching programs, it never addresses it's done with a gun and boots, which adds more weight. Yes, perhaps you should write a rucksack program featuring such added activities there, Joe. But it's also common sense that you're going to be carrying weapons and more gear and probably 40 pounds of water and 30 pounds of ammo. It sucks. Rucking sucks. But, when you're training to ruck, all you really need to do is prepare your body with weight. So 40 to 50 pounds may be sufficient for you to progress into your rucking. There's no need to be carrying a gun around, though I have seen guys, you don't want to carry a gun around because you probably get arrested. You'll carry a weighted stick or maybe a light barbell, 15, 20 pounds weighted stick to simulate that. But yeah, we do that often. What do you think of workouts that only consist of aqua jogging without the swimming? Well, if you're going to do that as a replacement to cardio, it's okay. If you're injured, I would suggest it. If you're really heavy, I would suggest it. If you can be out there running, I would be out there running and maybe ending a workout with aqua jogging. So once again, it kind of depends on your current abilities and any type of injuries that's slowing you down. So, but it's a great mobility tool, so I would use it. All right, folks, I am going to have to go. I got stuff going on. Everything's starting to move around in my house. Got a little later start than I wanted to on this. I will be doing some more podcasts this week. Stand by for that. I have, let's see, not that one. Where'd it go? I thought I had a code for you guys. Yeah, can't find it. I do have a code for you. Compete20 will save you 20% off anything at stewsmithfitness.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for asking questions. These are great questions. I'm actually about to write an article right now, and I needed some ideas, and some of you guys asked some great questions. I think I'm going to try to expand it into an article, and next week I'll let you know which one I selected to be an article, and we'll talk about that even in greater depth than a quick 1-minute answer. So until next time, my friends, I'll probably be on next Tuesday. So we'll do a 2 for Tuesday live and in between all these podcasts I'm doing. We'll see you later. Have a good week.